In the heart of an ancient village, encircled by a dense forest alive with the whispers of the old world, stood a majestic baobab tree. Its sprawling branches reached skyward like ancient hands stretched in prayer, casting broad shadows over the earth below. The villagers, whose lives ebbed and flowed beneath this giant, revered it not merely as a tree but as a keeper of secrets, a silent witness to the generations that had walked this land before them. Nia, a spirited and inquisitive young girl with eyes as wide and questioning as the moon, was drawn to the baobab tree. Each day she would stand beneath its expansive canopy, feeling the thrum of stories pulsing through its bark. "Mama," she would often ask as they prepared their evening meal, "what tales does the tree hold? Why do the elders guard it so fiercely?" Her mother, Mama Ayo, a woman whose wisdom was often sought by the villagers, would look towards the tree with a mixture of reverence and fear. "The tree is ancient, Nia, older than any of us," she would explain, stirring the pot slowly. "It holds memories of our ancestors, secrets that are not meant for the careless. It's our protector and our burden." As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the sky in shades of fiery orange and deep purple, the village elders would gather under the baobab. They spoke in hushed tones about a relic, rumored to be buried deep within the roots of the tree, a relic of immense power and mystery. Elder Quaim, the village chief, a stern man shaped by the traditions of their people, was the fiercest protector of this secret. "Elders say it's a chest," whispered Uncle Kojo one evening as he shared tales with the children. "A chest that contains the heart of the earth itself, beating within a stone of pure light. But to seek it is forbidden." Nia's curiosity was fueled by these stories, her resolve strengthened by the dismissive warnings of the elders. Why must knowledge be shrouded in secrecy? She pondered aloud, her voice a soft echo in the twilight. What are they protecting us from? Or are they protecting the secret from us? The whispers of the hidden relic turned into a chorus that filled the night air as Nia lay in bed, the tales twining like vines in her mind. The sacred tree, once a symbol of unity and life, now stood as a beacon of mystery, its true significance guarded and unspoken. Driven by a desire for truth, Nia decided to confront the tree's secrets. Her determination was as rooted as the baobab itself, and no taboo or elder's warning could deter her path. "I seek not to challenge the past but to understand it," she resolved, her spirit as fiery as the sunsets that bathed the baobab in hues of gold. The village awoke to a dawn of unease the next day as Nia approached the tree, her steps firm and unflinching. The elders, led by Elder Quam, watched warily, aware that the day could unravel the threads of tradition that had bound the community for centuries. "Be cautious, child," Elder Quam called out, his voice heavy with unspoken dread. "Some truths are buried for a reason." But Nia, with the support of her mother and the whispered blessings of her ancestors, reached for the truth buried beneath the sacred tree, her hands digging into the earth as the village held its breath. Under the cover of night, Nia tiptoed away from her hut, the crescent moon casting a silver glow that barely touched the ground beneath the colossal baobab tree. With each step, her heart thumped louder, not just with fear but with the thrill of the unknown. The earth was cool under her bare feet, every crackle of a dry leaf underfoot sounded like a thunderclap in the silent night. As she reached the base of the tree, her fingers traced the grooves and knots in the bark, feeling for the first time the pulse of ancient secrets. Suddenly, her hand brushed against something irregular, a series of symbols carved deep into the wood, hidden from unsearching eyes. They were not random markings but deliberate, intricate designs that spoke of histories long whispered in the wind. Nia's breath caught in her throat as she realized she had uncovered the first real trace of the ancients who had once revered this very tree. Meanwhile, Elder Quam stood a cautious distance away, shrouded in the shadow of his own hut, his eyes fixed on the figure of the young girl. He had watched Nia grow from a curious child to a bold seeker of truths he wished remained buried. With a heavy heart, he turned to summon the other elders. "We must watch her closely," he whispered, his voice carrying the weight of impending doom. "Her curiosity may awaken more than just old tales." As dawn approached, the village stirred with quiet unrest. Conversations were hushed but charged, a blend of admiration for Nia's courage and fear of the consequences her actions might bring. "She walks a path lined with both light and shadow," said one villager to another, their words a mix of worry and wonder. May the ancestors guide her steps, they murmured, unsure whether to pray for her success or for the preservation of their peaceful ignorance. That afternoon, Nia returned to the tree, her determination fortified by the night's discoveries. Digging at the base, her hands uncovered a hollow, within which lay a stack of old, weathered scrolls. Her fingers trembled as she unfurled the first scroll, the characters dancing before her eyes, telling tales of the village's origins, of battles fought and peace forged under the watchful eye of the baobab. But the scrolls spoke of more than just history, they spoke of rituals, of sacrifices made by the village's forebears to protect this very relic that Nia now sought. The tree was not just a keeper of secrets but a protector, its roots entwined with the very fate of the village. These rituals, Nia whispered to herself, they were not mere tradition but a covenant with the powers that watch over us. As she absorbed the weight of her discoveries, the shadows lengthened around her. The whispers of the ancestors seemed to rustle through the leaves above, a solemn reminder that some truths come with burdens too heavy for one soul to bear. Yet, as she looked up at the towering tree, Nia felt a resolve settle within her. She would not turn away from this path, for in understanding the past, she believed the village could face a more enlightened future. As dusk settled over the village, a formidable storm brewed on the horizon, its winds whispering through the dense forest. Nia stood at the base of the sacred baobab tree, her resolve hardened by the promise of secrets buried beneath its roots. The villagers watched nervously from their doorways, muttering among themselves. "The spirits are speaking," one elder noted, his voice trembling with both awe and fear. "Is it a warning, or do they bless Nia's quest?" The whispers floated on the wind, as palpable as the electricity in the air. Undeterred by the gathering storm, Nia began to dig, her hands guided by an unseen force. The wind howled, bending the mighty branches of the baobab as if in agony or encouragement. Elder Kwam approached, his face a mask of conflict. "Nia, stop this madness. The ancestors forbid it," he shouted over the roar of the wind. But Nia, fueled by a decade of mysteries and whispers, continued, her spade striking the earth with rhythmic thuds that matched her racing heart. Suddenly her spade hit something hard. The sound was distinct, a dull thud that silenced the storm for a brief moment. Nia knelt, brushing away the moist earth, revealing the corner of an ornate chest. Her breath caught in her throat as she and the gathered villagers stared in disbelief. With trembling hands, she cleared the dirt, exposing a chest that shimmered with ancient craftsmanship, its surface etched with symbols of the old and forgotten gods. With the entire village now gathered in a tight circle around her, Nia opened the chest. Inside, golden artifacts glinted under the storm's intermittent flashes of lightning, alongside a parchment that seemed to pulse with its own light. The crowd gasped as Nia lifted the parchment, her hands steady despite the tempest around them. She read aloud, her voice strong and clear. "Behold, the roots of our people, the heart of our land, guarded by the baobab, to be revealed only in times of great need." Elder Kwam stepped forward, his face softening as the words sank into his heart. "We were wrong to hide this," he admitted, his voice cracking with emotion. "The bravery of one has shown us the fear of many. We must not guard our past so jealously that we lose our future." Nia looked at him, her earlier defiance melting into a look of understanding and forgiveness. As the storm passed, leaving a clear starry sky, the village felt a shift. Nia, with the relics by her side, stood not just as a young girl but as a beacon of change. Elder Kwame, placing a hand on her shoulder, looked around at his people. "Let us embrace the truth she has unearthed," he declared. "Let us celebrate the courage that binds us more tightly than the secrets we keep." The village united around Nia and the sacred relics, their voices blending into a song of redemption and renewal that echoed through the baobab, leaving whispers in the leaves of a new dawn breaking. In the heart of the village, beneath the ancient baobab tree, the air was thick with anticipation. The elders, led by Elder Kwam, stood in a semicircle, their faces solemn yet hopeful. Villagers of all ages gathered, their murmurs fading as Elder Kwam stepped forward, his voice resonant with newfound respect. "Today," Elder Kwam began, "we stand beneath our sacred guardian to acknowledge a courage that has enlightened us all. Nia, our young seeker, has unveiled truths long buried, and her bravery shines light on paths we dared not tread. We are grateful, for through her, our ancestors speak anew. The crowd nodded, their eyes on Nia, who stood humbly, her gaze steady. The air vibrated with the echoes of the past, as if the spirits themselves murmured their approval through the rustling leaves. With the dawn came a vibrant gathering at the village square, where the air buzzed with the energy of renewal. Tables were laden with fruits and woven baskets filled with nuts and grains. Elder Kwame, alongside other village leaders, unveiled a new plaque that outlined the village's enriched history, as discovered in the sacred scrolls. "Let these truths guide us," declared a respected matron, "as we blend them into our daily lives, enriching our rituals and teaching our children the full breadth of their heritage." The day unfolded with workshops and storytelling circles, where elders and youngsters alike shared tales and discussed the implications of their newfound history. As the sun reached its zenith, the village center was adorned with vibrant cloths and symbols of the baobab. Nia, dressed in a robe of earthy tones and adorned with beads, was led to the base of the tree by her mother, Mama Ayo, and Elder Kwam. The elder handed her a carved staff, its wood old as the tree itself. "Nia," he said, his voice thick with emotion, "you are now the guardian of our stories, the keeper of our truths. Guard them well, share them wisely, and lead us with the courage you have shown." Tears glistened in Nia's eyes as the villagers cheered, their voices a robust chorus that seemed to shake the leaves above. As twilight painted the sky in hues of orange and purple, the annual festival began with a renewed spirit. Lanterns hung from the branches of the baobab, casting soft lights on the faces below. Music filled the air, a rhythmic beat that resonated with the heartbeat of the earth. Men and women danced, their movements a celebration of unity and strength. Children ran about, their laughter mingling with the stories shared under the expansive branches of the baobab. Elder Kwam and Nia, now side by side, watched the festivities, their hearts full. "See how the truth, once feared, binds us stronger than ever," Kwam whispered, his voice carrying a mix of awe and relief. Nia nodded, her eyes reflecting the flickering lights. "And so it will. For generations to come," she replied, her voice a promise to the tree, to her people, and to the generations who would one day dance under the same branches, united by the stories of their past, emboldened by the courage of a young girl who dared to seek the truth. Revealing the corner of an ornate chest, her breath caught in her throat as she and the gathered villagers stared in disbelief. With trembling hands, she cleared the dirt, exposing a chest that shimmered with ancient craftsmanship, its surface etched with symbols of the old and forgotten gods. With the entire village now gathered in a tight circle around her, Nia opened the chest. Inside, golden artifacts glinted under the storm's intermittent flashes of lightning, alongside a parchment that seemed to pulse with its own light. The crowd gasped as Nia lifted the parchment, her hands steady despite the tempest around them. She read aloud, her voice strong and clear, "Behold, the roots of our people, the heart of our land, guarded by the baobab, to be revealed only in times of great need." Elder Kwam stepped forward, his face softening as the words sank into his heart. "We were wrong to hide this," he admitted, his voice cracking with emotion. "The bravery of one has shown us the fear of many. We must not guard our past so jealously that we lose our future." Nia looked at him, her earlier defiance melting into a look of understanding and forgiveness. As the storm passed, leaving a clear starry sky, the village felt a shift. Nia, with the relics by her side, stood not just as a young girl but as a beacon of change. Elder Kwam, placing a hand on her shoulder, looked around at his people. "Let us embrace the truth she has unearthed," he declared. "Let us celebrate the courage that binds us more tightly than the secrets we keep." The village united around Nia and the sacred relics, their voices blending into a song of redemption and renewal that echoed through the baobab, leaving whispers in the leaves of a new dawn breaking.